are you?
Hi, folks.
Thank you so much for agreeing to speak with us today. We really appreciate it.
Oh, my God, my pleasure. So what's this about middle school? It was you weren't able to turn
No,
the song off?
tell the story. Now she's got to tell the story.
All right. So when I was in middle school, probably like 7th grade, we had a website design class, and you had to pick a topic, and then you had to make a website on it. And it wasn't actually published. It was coding is what it was. And one of the features you could do was add a song that would play as soon as you logged into the site or as soon as you clicked it. And so the song that me and my partner chose was Carry On My Wayward Son. And so every time you would click into the site, that song would play. But once we activated it, we couldn't figure out how to turn it off. And we did it right when it started. We were like, oh, that's so cool. And then it got to a point where we developed the website, and the song had nothing to do with the site.
Because they were selling pies.
We were selling pie. That was our website design. And I remember my tech teacher being like, this is really cool, but I don't really get it. And I don't
it's funny, I had that same class in middle school.
Coding?
There was no such thing as that when
I was going to go with it, Ronnie. I really was. I wasn't going to question it.
Oh, my God, that's hysterical.
The classic rock band Kansas is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. You know the songs, Dust in the Wind, Carry On My Wayward Son, and many more.
Many, many more. The celebration is coming to the Kodak Center on Saturday, July 1st, and singer Ronnie Platt is helping celebrate their legacy. He joins us this morning after joining the band several years ago. Thank you so much for waking up with us. Really appreciate your time today.
Oh, thanks for having me. Absolutely fantastic, and please bear with me. I am trying to wake up here.
That's all right. Where are you this morning?
In beautiful Pennsylvania. Well, we have a show here in Glenside, and also tonight and tomorrow. And we're kicking off. It's week 2 of another Fork in the Road, 50th anniversary tour.
So I want to start things out, if we can, talking a little bit about your background. I have to imagine transitioning to lead vocalist of such an iconic band. Was that at all nerve-wracking for you?
Nah. Of course, you know, when you're faced with the prospect of becoming the lead singer of one of the biggest classic rock bands of all time, it's pretty exhilarating. But you know, the guys in Kansas just made it such a easy transition for me. And here I am 9 years later, still with the band and still going strong.
Ronnie, you were a fan of Kansas before even joining. What was that audition like, or how did it even come to be?
Well, when I first contacted Phil and Rich, and I met them down in Atlanta, they flew me down to Atlanta from Chicago, and it really was just a meeting to get to know each other because they had seen me perform with when I was lead singer of the band Shooting Star, and of course in today's world with you know, YouTube and all the video stuff and media, they had seen me perform, and they said that we're flying you down not to make you audition. We already know you could sing your butt off. We just want to know if you're a good guy, if you're going to mesh with the band, and that was it. I mean, I met with Phil and Rich for 3 hours, and we talked business for about 5 minutes, and the rest of the time was just telling stories and laughing our butts off. And the very next day, there I am back in beautiful Chicago, driving my 18-wheeler and checking my email, and got an email from Phil, said, congrats, you got the job. So that was 9 years ago, and in some ways it seems like 9 months ago, and in other ways it seems like I've always been here. It's really a strange perspective for me.
I mean, the story is so incredible in and of itself. I'm wondering, though, I can't imagine what that creative process is like now, or what it was like maybe for you in the beginning to, again, have, as Abby said, having been a fan of such an iconic band, how is it that you bring your own style to it? Did you feel comfortable doing that? Were they, accepting of that?
Yeah, well, I believe you're a product of your influences. And I was so influenced by Steve and Kansas music, such a big fan. And you can't help but have that element embedded in you when you're such a fan of a particular type of music. I've always considered myself a prog rocker, being a huge Kansas fan, Yes, and Genesis and Rush, bands like that were such a big influence on me. So to join Kansas, it was just so easy for me because it was already in my blood. And of course, being such a huge Steve Walsh fan, it was just an element in me that was already there.
Ronnie, you've been with them 9 years. What was it like for you the first time stepping out there on the stage and just going off of that then? What was the moment for you where you thought, I made it, this is it?
Cake.
Piece of cake.
No, it's so funny. I tell the story of seeing an episode of Behind the Music that was it on MTV or VH1, one of those, and it was with Lawrence Gowan, who took Dennis DeYoung's place in the band Styx, and how he was saying that the fans weren't exactly too welcoming of him at first. And I saw this just before my first show, and I'm like, what did I get myself into? They're going to lynch me. These diehard Kansas fans, how are they going to take to a new lead singer? But I've been so lucky that the fans have been so nice to me and so accepting. And it's been great. It's been great from day one.
I'm wondering, had you seen the band perform live ever? Had you been to one of their concerts before?
Sure. Many times.
So give us the juxtaposition there then, being a fan in the crowd and being a part of that energy that the band is feeding off of, and now being, the frontman for the band and feeding off of the energy. What is that like?
Yeah, it's really something to have such a unique perspective for me, being not only a fan, but now a member of the band. In so many of my cover bands back in Chicago, I mean, it was just part of the deal. If I was singing in a cover band, we had to do some Kansas. That was not negotiable with me. But it's so strange to, you could sing Wayward Son or Point of No Return or, whatever Kansas song it is in your cover band. But when you're singing those songs and you're in the band Kansas, there's a little higher elevation there. So it brings that energy level up. And then, of course, my self-inflicted standards of always wanting to do the best I can and just give the fans every ounce of energy I have, and that's what I do every show.
So 9 years in, I do want to know, was it the first performance? Was it the first concert? Was it meeting the band for the first time? What has been the most memorable moment of being a part of Kansas for you so far?
Well, I met the band through the years, long before I was in the band, and through mutual friends. And, I've talked to Rich, a couple times before I was in the band. So there was really no specific point, but, just getting the job itself and walking into that first rehearsal was just really surreal to have that experience. And I know I'm in a very unique group of guys that it's a very tight-knit club. Me singing for Kansas, and then you have like Kelly Hansen singing for Foreigner, and Arnell singing for Journey, and Tommy DiCarlo singing for Boston. You know, you can imagine, you know, the excitement that we share as singers, getting into bands that we've admired our entire lives. There's really no way to describe it.
Yeah, I don't know that we can actually
No.
imagine that, though.
not at all.
I would be terrified that I would be selected
And not live up to anyone's
Exactly.
expectations. Yeah, but it seems like you're just exceeding them.
Let me tell you, 9 years later, I'm still terrified.
Maybe that's what is so good about you, though. Maybe that's what keeps you on your toes and keeps the fans coming back.
You know, I have to say, you know, we're in the wings of the stage, you know, before the show starts. And Derek, our monitor man, is, you know, giving us the 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes. And it's like that adrenaline just starts racing in my body. And whether we're playing to 200 people or 100,000 people, and we have done Blue Ash since just outside of Cincinnati, Blue Ash, where the audience was estimated over 100,000 people. The adrenaline for me is still the same, because I just, not only do I want to, you know, satisfy the fans, but I also want to live up to the expectation of my bandmates and you know, show them that I'm really putting my whole heart into it every show. Nothing has changed. And I've been like that my entire life, even before being in Kansas.
Did I hear you right a little while ago? Did I hear you say that you were driving a truck before this?
Tractor.
Yeah, I've lived a double life because I've been a musician my entire life, but you know, I have this bad habit of I want to eat once in a while. So you got to put food on the table. So, you know, I mean, I drove a truck around Chicago for 25 years or better. That was my day gig. And looking back at that now, how I would, you know, work, you know, 50, 55 hours a week, and then have band practice 2-3 times a week, do gigs on the weekend, and then still just do the domestic things that life has for you. Mm-hmm. I'm so tired now just thinking about it.
I mean, you used the word surreal earlier, and it really comes across. It honestly comes across that way. It's as if you kind of hit the jackpot with this. I mean, you're talented from the get, but then you're thrust into stardom with this.
Right. Unlike Tommy DiCarlo, who went from working at a Home Depot to fronting Boston, I think I've really been prepared for this my entire life, because I've always been in bands and always been in very successful bands. My band, Ara, that was a local band back in Chicago, we opened up for everyone at big festivals. So it was something that I really have been conditioned for. But yeah, surreal it's still surreal, even though I have been conditioned for it. To be in this position now is really something.
Really incredible. Okay, so the question is, what can fans in Rochester expect this coming July when you're here at the Kodak Center?
Do you want my Reverend Ainsley?
You give me whatever you want.
Folks, let me tell you, you're going to witness a show that is going to save your soul. It is going to cure all your depression. When you come see Kansas, you are going to forget about your problems. You are going to forget about all the negativity in your life and just enjoy fine music performed at its finest level and just carrying you away to the point of no return.
How could you even say no to that?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm sold. I don't know about you. I'm sold.
Yeah, we got to get to. If you want, you can send us a couple of tickets. We'll take them.
We wouldn't say no.
Yeah, we would not say no. Hey, Ronnie Platt, thank you so much for your time this morning. Really appreciate it. An absolute pleasure and, quite honestly, an honor to speak with you today.
Oh, my God. Thank you so much. And can't wait to get to the Kodak Center. It's going to be a great show. Another fork in the road. 50 years of Kansas. The band just keeps on rolling. And kansasband.com. That's where you want to come see us and get our schedule and all the news on the band.
Phenomenal.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you so much. Again, Kansas this July at the Kodak Center. Ronnie, thank you for talking with us.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Take care. We're going to post all of this information on foxrochester.com. All the ticketing information, everything you need to know. You can head over there, and that will be up shortly after the show this morning. We'll be right back.